ZombiU takes place in London, and it does a really good job of accurately capturing the look of the city. From grimy tube stations to cozy, albeit apocalyptic residential streets, it feels very authentic. Even if whoever at Ubisoft was in charge of the next-gen re-release thought that the danger signs on doors were all meant to say cancer. That's a bit weird. One of the first objectives you're given in this game is to sneak into a supermarket to look for supplies, and the attention to detail is immaculate here. Shop shelves full of abandoned goods, a nod to the cancelled Rabbids game that ZombiU would spawn from, and they even went to the effort of making fake Visa and MasterCard logos for the front of the shop. That's really cute, I thought, and then I turned around and saw Lightning McQueen staring at me. And all of a sudden, how Ubisoft had captured the look of London so well became very obvious. All the posters in the supermarket are just posters from real-life supermarkets, and while obviously video games having real-life brands in them and the licenses to do so isn't anything new, this is the only time I've ever seen a game use real-life brands and then try to badly Photoshop off any evidence of what brand they belong to, making me think they didn't have permission to use any of them. Especially when, being supermarket posters, they have lots of other brands on them too. All I'm saying is, I doubt Ubisoft reached out to Disney to ask for permission to have official Disney Cars merchandise shown on a poster in their 18+ horror game. So that's what this video is about. I saw some posters in ZombiU over half a decade ago, and they've lived rent-free in my head ever since. I've never seen anyone else talk about them online before, so now I'm sharing the brain rot with you. I want to talk about them, try to track down their sources where I can, or, at the very least, see what products Ubisoft plagiarised for their zombie horror game. I hope you enjoy it. The first poster I'm going to talk about was the easiest one to track down. It's Tesco. Ubisoft forgot to remove the reference to their club card in the top left, kept Tesco's slogan in the bottom right, and you can even see that it just says tesco.com underneath the blur filter they added to the website. When they ported ZombiU to PC and next-gen consoles, they actually went back and tried to cover up more of Tesco's branding. Here's the texture ripped straight from the game, and here's the original poster I was able to find online. Massive shout out to Jessica Craig and Robin Bugless, who used to run a university blog over a decade ago, and for keeping it up all this time as a beautiful time capsule of what university life was like headed into the 2010s. Not too much else to say about the poster though. They poorly blurred out the brand names of all the products, and for whatever reason, made these ones purple. So that's one poster down, 3 more to go. And this one being so easy to find gave me some false hope that I could find the others just as easily. It at least showed that Ubisoft found these posters online and didn't capture them themselves when scouting London for the game, so it's not like there was no chance, but these posters are over a decade old, very poorly archived and vulnerable to link rot. And what especially doesn't help is when it turns out that despite being based in London, not all these posters are actually from the UK. This poster haunted me for literal months. Unlike every other poster here, I did not recognise the brand at all. I was going through Wikipedia, looking at every major UK supermarket and their marketing from the time to try and find a match. I even went as far to go on Google Maps and tried to look at posters they had up on storefronts to find a match, but found nothing. And of course I wouldn't, because it turns out it's not a British supermarket at all. I mean, favourite is spelt the British way, but when I looked closer, I realised that the pound symbols were just very badly added in. Like, not even using a text tool, just drawn on. And they also forgot to remove a $sign here too. So great, the search radius just expanded from my tiny little country to a dozen possibilities like Australia, New Zealand, or hell, could I even really discount America? Well, I did pretty quickly, considering how shoddy the rest of the photoshopping on these posters has been. To suddenly do it perfectly just to change the spelling of one word seemed unlikely. So I tried googling every possible combination of words I could think of to find this poster, and nothing would come up. So in a moment of desperation, I used Bing. I typed in alcohol party favourites advertisement 2011, not expecting to find anything, but there it was. A poster from Australian liquor store Liquorland, posted on a website that doesn't even exist anymore. How freaking lucky. Not that even without finding the original it would have been hard to find out what alcohol was on this poster. They did a pretty bad job of covering it up, even forgetting to blur out the name of one here, but it's nice to have, and sadly, it's the last poster I was actually able to find for this video. Luckily for us though, Ubisoft made it very easy to tell where this next one came from, because they didn't even bother to blur out any of the names of the products. It's very obviously from Lidl, or as it's been photoshopped to say here, LOL. They really outdid themselves on this one. I don't know why they dropped the ball so hard here, like not even bothering to blur out anything, especially for hula hoops, which are from a big ass company, but it seems like even Ubisoft knew they messed up with this one. If you're wondering why I'm not showing the texture ripped from the PC version, it's because it doesn't exist. Unlike the other posters they altered slightly for the re-release, Ubisoft didn't even bother with this one and just replaced it with another copy of the Tesco poster. So I'm sad I wasn't able to find the original, but with Lidl being such a global brand, the odds were really stacked against me. I was even trawling stock image websites just in case, but I mean, they did so little to it, what's here may as well literally just be the original. But feel free to look at this artist's interpretation, I think you'll agree it's pretty close. Finally, we're back to the poster that made me fall down this rabbit hole all those years ago. This poster very obviously comes from Asda, seeing that you can still read their logo through the green spray paint they blasted over it, along with their slogan, top tier censoring there. And of course, it has Lightning McQueen on it. And here's the original pencil case, though sadly as much as I did look, I couldn't find a water bottle to match, not even one with a similar render on it. You'd think, with how many of these there are, I would have seen something that looked even slightly similar, but sadly not. Still, I'm happy to have found the pencil case at least, seeing that it's what jumped out to me in the first place and led me to making this video. As for what else is on this poster, the stuff at the top is stationery, as their own brand colouring pencils and highlighter pens. This is Tipex, these are a packet of Bic pens, and these are Crayola Twistables, and I assume the rest are also things from those brands. The laptop and printer were surprisingly the easiest things to find on this poster. The prices of these were such a big deal at the time that they had whole ass blog posts and articles written about them. The printer is an Epson SX425W all-in-one. Thank you Ralph Allison on the money saving expert forums for the tip there, and the laptop is a Dell T4500. The only thing I couldn't find, and not for lack of trying, is the other pencil case and water bottle. I spent so long trying to find out what it is, longer than every other item in this video combined, and still came up empty-handed. Every possible search term on every possible search engine, hours spent trawling through Asda's website on the Wayback Machine, diving deeper and deeper into more and more poorly archived web pages, With very few images to go off of, I dragged several of my friends into the rabbit hole with me, and they all hate me for it because they couldn't find anything either. Though, we think we at least have a few ideas as to what it could be. Going through the pencil case and water bottle sections of Asda's website, archived around the same date those articles and posts about the laptop and printer were posted, really only gives 3 possible brands: Disney Princesses, Hello Kitty, or Pink Cookie. Hello Kitty is the only product there I saw with a vaguely similar colour scheme to what is seen on the poster, but that could just be me coping and wanting to see a resemblance where there isn't any. I'm definitely not at all confident in saying that it's that, but one of these 3 is my best guess. There's also always the possibility it's not branded at all and it's just some generic Asda in-house design, but I think that'd be weird to have next to another branded product, so I imagine it would be a brand. I feel very frustratingly close to figuring out what it is, but the neurons just ain't firing, and the searches ain't coming up fruitful. So please, if you're watching this and recognise what the hell this is, put me out of my misery please, and leave a comment. Thank you so much. So that covers all the posters in the supermarket. But there's just one more thing I wanted to touch on. In the middle aisle you can find these bottles, and I was able to find out what a few of those were too. The texture is backwards, but flipping it around shows the name Palmolive, which is obviously meant to be palm olive, and it's very funny to me that they actually tried to make up their own brand name for it rather than just blur it out. While I wasn't able to find an exact match on the bottle, this one has pretty much all of the same elements, just shifted around the bottle a little bit. I doubt Ubisoft went to the effort of moving those about themselves, so it's more likely that there was probably just a bottle that looked like this around 2011 when they were making the game, and I've just stumbled across the newer, updated version of that design. This other bottle also has a backwards texture, Rov, another very tiny change from Dove. Again, I don't have a 100% match for this one, but it's easy to find similar bottles online, so once more, it's likely that the bottle design did look like this at some point, in some country, and it's just been updated over the years. I do appreciate though how they went to the effort of modelling the bottle to look authentic, and then made it the wrong colour for the branding anyway. At least it's more effort than they put into the posters. The other bottles though, I have no idea what they are. Despite my many attempts to find them, wouldn't surprise me if they just made them up, or hell, they might not even be sold in the UK. I also can't forget this bottle, which I did forget about until just now when I was editing this video. It's opposite of all the shampoo bottles we just looked at, Rave Detergent Liquid. I've had a small look online, admittedly not as in-depth as everything else in this video because I kinda forgot this was even here. And yeah, I couldn't find anything except from 1,000 other similar looking bottles, including one in the background of an old H-Bomber Guy video, which doesn't seem to be the exact same design but maybe has a matching logo. So that was weird, not what I expected when going back to rewatch an old video. So yeah, if any of you know what they are, please let me know in the comments. I don't really know how to conclude this video. I barely even know why I'm making it. Finding these very badly edited posters years ago really left an impression on me, and I really do mean years ago. I have a thumbnail for this video I made in 2017. So yeah, it's been rent-free in my head for a while now. I was constantly torn on whether or not this would actually make for an interesting video or not, but in the end, it doesn't really matter if this video does well or not to me. I just needed to get it out of my brain after holding onto it for so long. I've never seen anyone talk about this before online, no matter how many times I've looked, which is astonishing to me, so either no one noticed, or people did notice and just didn't care enough to ever talk about it. I don't know, but either way, I hope you found these posters even a fraction of an amount as interesting as I did. Till next time, bye bye.